All right, so welcome to 1998. We are looking at some ancient history here. We are looking at the archives of the internet. So, this is actually courtesy of web.archive.org, and this is part of Kevin Lillard's reports. So, if you're not unfamiliar who Kevin Lillard was, he contributed a lot to fandom, specifically anime fandom, with a website known as Fansview. Now, just kind of prime you guys up, Fansview ran for quite a long time, and a lot of the earlier reports are from 1998. And I wanted to just get us started with Anime Expo 1998. I got a personal story I want to share with you, and I was supposed to go to AX 1998. I learned about Anime Expo 1998 in an issue of Animerica. There was an advert of it on the back. You can mail a money order or check for your registration ticket for Anime Expo. And I'm like, yeah, I want to go. But I kind of forgot about Anime Expo. I forgot to ask my parents to mail that money order and or check to the Society of Promotion of Japanese Animation. And I was sad because I missed out on Anime Expo. But you know what? We got some familiar friends in the chat. We have some of our favorite forest foragers. We got Professor Ramses, Komi, Azure Mage, and let's get started. So, Anime Expo in Anaheim, July 3 to 5, 1998. The largest anime convention in the U.S., Anime Expo, attracted 5,000 people to the Anaheim Hilton and Anaheim Convention Center, just south of Disneyland in Southern California. Here's a story of the artists, the fans, the companies, and the cosplayers. All right, we had Yume Haboop Snoot in the chat, and you know what? Let's get to day one. Remember, Anime Expo used to be a 3-day convention. All right. So let's just take a look here. Oh yeah, check out that Vincent cosplayer. Yeah, 1998, Final Fantasy VII. All right, so let's look at the early arrival. Who were like just some of the weirdos? Some of my favorite weirdos are actually in this section here, who showed up early to show up for Anime Expo day one. So you can kind of see here, this is what like LineCon kind of looked like. This is the arena. And let's see, some people may take this early arrival thing too seriously. 3:30 a.m. Friday, these were a few of the people, but all sleeping in the halls of the Anaheim Hilton and Towers. Anaheim Hilton Towers are still there. This is where I usually just hang out and grab Starbucks anytime I go to WonderCon. And yeah, people were still lining up early to be among the first to check out Anime Expo. And then 6 hours later, hundreds lined up outside the Anaheim Convention Center for the opening ceremonies, a line that extended 2 blocks. Anime Expo's remarkable success draws so many people that waiting in line is a part of the event. I actually know some of these faces right here. So among those at the ceremonies, aspiring animator Todd the Touch and Foxy Friend. Sorry, we couldn't show her tail. Sean brought to Anime Expo and the demonstration videos he had shown a month earlier at Project Acon. Familiar faces include, here's a return of animators, Jan Fraser, I'm using their actual name, and Amanda Wen Lee. Yeah, Amanda Wen Lee, I follow her on Twitter, trying to explain the infamous Panda incident from Anime Central in April. Amanda Wen Lee, she was like the party girl. She was like the Clara Bow of her era. She was like the it voice actress of the time. And I actually did a ton of fewer panels in the early 2000s, and I have separate stories for those, and some you might even find on my TikTok. Oh, check out this gentleman right here. It's Matt Greenfield. Where are your epaulets, Matt? Matt Greenfield was known for like just wearing like these really fancy like regalia inspired by Oz from Gundam Wing. Like he had like really fancy like regalia. If you're familiar with Battletech, he would be part of that. I can't remember the faction for the life of me, but you know, fancy military uniforms. Matt Greenfield of AD Vision. Who remembers ADV? Rushing through the halls, setting up his company's dealer table. This is before ADV had those giant towers, and we'll get into that like at Anime Expo 02, but dealers mainly just had tables back then. AD Vision is expected to be a part of the battle between American anime companies for the fans' dollars at Anime Expo and beyond. I know this guy. I like this guy. He is awesome, and he is one of my convention senpais. This is Rob Miles. Shout out to you, Rob Miles. I wish my avatar here, my VTube persona, can make hand hearts, but it can't right now. Maybe we'll get to that technology. Maybe the Azure Mage will learn something at Alpha Expo and perhaps share that with me so I can make hand hearts with Nadeshiko here. Robert Miles Jr. of the Bay Area Animation led another big delegation from the San Francisco area to a major convention. We saw this group at Project Acon 9. Miles promised a couple of big room parties and some knockdown, drag out video gaming. Okay, we gotta get Rob Miles to party with us again. We gotta go up to Fanime or any Bay Area event hey Rob, we're gonna have a sick rager at stage 0. And you can see here AnimeCon 91, that was the first Anime Expo. People with long memories will see this shirt and smile. Back in the days when anime conventions were a strange and unusual idea, a group of West Coast fans thought the original AnimeCon, which split into Anime America and Anime Expo, and it takes a long time to explain. The shirt was on sale at the Anime Expo merchandising booth. And behold, registration! Check out these chunky computers from the late 90s. My family, we had a chunky Windows Gateway computer with the cow logos. But check out these chunky computers. Processing registration. Check out those plastic bags right there. I actually know where in the Anaheim Hilton this section is. Yes, Gateway 2000. I love the Mac font on the Anime Con shirt. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, chunky computers at the registration table. It's places such as this, the main registration table, where conventions such as Anime Expo really takes place. Volunteers, not paid staff, make convention work. The people who stand in long lines don't see or appreciate the intense months of work to get this organized. Okay, so that was just the first section of it. Oh yeah, let's look at cosplay, 1998 style. Oh my goodness, we have Rob Miles in the chat, old dirty gamer. Everyone, go give a virtual glom to old dirty gamer. We have Rob Miles in the chat. Oh my god, thank you so much for showing up. Dude, we gotta go back in time and we gotta go to one of your sick ragers, man. Sick ragers. So yeah, oh yeah, we have Escaflowne. And as I was going through these photos prior to recording this, we have there were a lot of Fushigi Yugi cosplayers here in 1998, and I'll show you the reason why. So we'll just kind of go quickly here. We got Ranma. Then we have Toski. Toski is one of my OG husbandos. At first, I thought Tamahome was my husbando from Fushigi Yugi, and yeah. But Toski is where it's at. I like my fiery boys. Yep, we got Terry. And of course, we have Cabots. Who doesn't love Cabots? Cabots were all the rage, back in the day. And of course, we have Misao and Kaoru from Kenshin. Just slowing down here, a couple of Final Fantasy VII cosplays. All right, now, it wouldn't be a convention without some guests of honor. Let's just take a look at who were the guests of Anime Expo 98. Okay, I'll kind of go through the highlights of this. After a long year's wait, the hundreds of anime fans who packed the hall at the Anaheim Convention Center got what they wanted. A chance to greet the Japanese guests of honor. First was Mika Akitaka, designer of Galaxy Frontline Unit series and mecha designer for many films in the Gundam saga. I was going through these guests as I was prepping for this stream, and I'm I wish I could go back in time to go to this Anime Expo because I appreciate so much more anime now because back in '98, I was like, "Hi, I like Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Magic Knight Rayearth, yeah." Which not there's nothing wrong with liking shojo, but as you get older, you kind of expand into like different types of anime and that you enjoy. And during the pandemic, I became a Gundam nerd. Next up was Junichi Hayama, animation director on programs such as Fist of No Star, Lock the Superman. The crowd gave a special cheer when his character design and art direction on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was mentioned. All right, this is my man right here, Akira Kamiya. Um, Back in AX01 and '02, I actually did take a voice acting workshop with him. So if you Google the body of his work, what he's done, you can see why, like, yeah, he's such a big deal. I love this guy. Yeah, I just wish I could like to see him again because he's just such a nice guy. Let's see, voice actor Akira Kamiya became an Anime Expo favorite last year, and the fans couldn't wait for him to return to the 1998 edition. Neither could Kamiya. I asked the Anime Expo staff if they would invite me next year. He said at the opening ceremony, Anime Expo is the happiest convention on earth. Who agrees with that in 2024? Lol, JK. But at the time, Anime Expo was the happiest convention on earth. Yeah, it was just such an honor to have had like voice acting workshops with him and to also be given critique from this guy, and he is a legend. Hiroyuki Kitakubo, animator on such films as Urusei Yatsura, Remember My Love, director Black Magic M66, started an odd competition among the guests of honor as they were introduced. As my first step towards the conquest of the universe, I have come to America today, he said. Which drew this reply from Yasuhiro Naito, ooh, who knows that guy? Creator of the Trigun manga, which is now a late night anime series. Actually, we are here to prevent Mr. Kitakubo from conquering the universe. This is why we had a lot of Fushigi Yugi presence in 1998. And unfortunately, I didn't get into Fushigi Yugi until like my freshman year of high school. Then the crowd erupted from this year's favorite, Watase, the creative Fushigi Yugi manga series that led to the anime series. I hear that Fushigi Yugi is kind of popular underground, Watase said in the understatement of the day. I was fortunate to see Watase in '01 during opening ceremonies. They seem very quiet, very shy, kind of like very reserved, but I really wish I had like a Fushigi Yugi cosplay back in the day to kind of been a part of that. Again, I didn't really get into Fushigi Yugi until much later, and those costumes were very complicated to make from what I had and what little resources I had, because I always wanted to do Priestess Miyaka back in the day, and now I do Priestess Miyaka, and anytime I wear Priestess Miyaka, people think I'm from Genshin. They're like, nice. What's it from? Is that from Genshin? Are you from Genshin? No, but let me tell you about Fushigi Yugi and our non-binary person who wrote it, Watase. All right, the contest over the claims of Conquest ended with the appearance of Takahiro Yoshimatsu, who has written for the Slayers movies and the new Trigun TV series, who said, I came here to conquer the universe as well, but I was defeated by the mighty Toys R Us. How many of you feel defeated by the mighty Toys R Us? I love this reply. After the last died down, Watase was asked to start an Anime Expo tradition, the painting of the eyes of the Daruma doll for good luck. Watase painted the first eye to mark the beginning of the convention. The last eye will be painted at the finale of the event. I know Anime Expo still does this at opening and closing ceremonies, so it's good to know that like they still do this tradition. He went to Toys R Us and dropped over 1 grand. Oh my god. Oh man. Back in the day when we had Toys R Us. I still remember KB. I still remember Child World. Alright. Oh, I had played volleyball with this guy. My man, Mike. The big cheese. Anime Expo is more than a party. It is also a charity and fundraiser through artist auction to the City of Hope. Mike Tatsugawa, president of the Society for the Promotion of Japanese Animation, presented a 1997 Expo check to the City of Hope. Then there was an impressive performance by the Jodaiko Taiko drummers from UC Irvine. Okay, I gotta drop this emoji in the chat for obvious reasons, and if you have access to that emoji, we gotta... Zot. Yeah, I remember when he had his Shogun persona. I used to, like, be pretty active in MIRC and so forth. Like, yes, Zot! And it was the time for the fans at the opening ceremony to move back to Anaheim Hilton and swarm into the dealer room. I am so happy to see all this UC Irvine pride in the chat. It just makes me happy. All right. We'll just kind of like just peruse through like a few of these, like right here. This is when Bandai like had announced that they were gonna release the Gundam franchise to the US. Let's see. So here, Bandai plans to release the first Gundam tapes in September. Gundam has been long withheld from the market because they wanted it done the right way, said Schulman about Bandai's decision. Why now? I think they felt it was the right time with the right project in the right place, said Schulman. The 20-year-old Gundam saga will be released in the US nearly in its original running order, from the first TV series to the new G-Savior film. Oh, jeez. However, the first 3 Gundam movies will be part of the initial release. Schulman said Gundam will be released on subtitle VHS video cassettes first, with other formats to follow. And since the Sunrise production of the company in Japan is part of the Bandai family, other Sunrise films could be released in the US as part of a new arrangement. And where can you get all of this Bandai, get all of this Gundam goodness? You can get straight from Anime Village. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's talk some mecha designs with our friend here, Mika Akitaka. Yep. With Gundam celebrating its 20th anniversary and Bandai ready to start selling Gundam tapes through its American subsidiary in September, Gundam will draw its widest American audience ever. Akitaka is pleased by this, but he wonders why so many Americans have sought out the Japanese originals of Gundam even though the tapes and discs are not translated into English. Because it's awesome! Story about me, I got into Gundam shortly after Macross, and I think the series that kind of drew to me was Gundam Wing, because this has a boy band in it. It has pretty boys. And then Trades ended up being my husbando. On the other hand, Akitaka admits that he saw Star Wars in English without subtitles or Japanese voices and enjoyed the movie. He also notes that some elements of Star Wars were borrowed for Gundam plots. Isn't that obvious? I mean, laser swords and all that stuff. Alright, I actually like this quote right here. Haruka Takachio, creator of the Dirty Pair series, says he gets his best ideas in the bath. Akitaka said he needs to get out of the office for his mind to start working. I need to go out on a walk. I try not to think about anything, and then an idea comes up. I also get a lot of ideas before I go to sleep. Yep, that is a mood. Yes. Alright, so yeah, learning more about Gundam. Alright, let's check out this Madhouse presentation. So let's just take a look here. All right, led by producer Masa Murayama, the Madhouse production studio in Japan has created a world of somewhere in the Middle East of Alexander's time and the bleak cityscapes of Aeon Flux, all drawn to Chung's design. This project also marks the return of Haruki Kadokawa to the anime production since his drug arrest several years ago. The preview shown at Anime Expo was striking, violent, vivid scenario of combat and intense emotions, and could be coming to the US if Madhouse makes a proper deal. So yeah, what about Cardcaptor Sakura? And what they believe that both this kawaii girl and the desperate battles of Alexander both came from Madhouse. Maruyama said it's a matter of giving good people a chance to be creative. You can make anime cheap, you can make it fast, and you can make a lot of it. However, in that system, there's still some talented people. They need to make the work they love in hospital environment. And we have in the chat here, spoiler, they made the proper deal. Yeah, back when no one knew who Madhouse was. Wow, set the way back machine. Oh hey, this face looks familiar. Read a newspaper and you left with the impression that the Japanese economy is dragging down the rest of the world. Maruyama said the slump is not holding back anime projects but is keeping them from being released on videocassette. Rather, the projects are going to late-night Japanese television such as Trigun, a story that mixes the legends of the American Western with that sort of retro-punk genre. Of course, Trigun is another Madhouse production. And Madhouse made like some of my favorite anime from like back in the day. All right, I see we got some Akira Kamiya fans in the chat. Yeah, let's see what he has to say. So, in case if you're too lazy to Google who this man is, for us old schoolers, he is Roy Fokker of Macross, Mendo of Yorosei Yatsura, Ryo Saiba of City Hunter, his favorite role, and millions of fans in Japan and in the US. Even though only has a handful of those Americans followers, he can understand a word he says. He's Akira Kamiya, one of the leading voice actors in the anime world. In the never-ending sub versus dub conflict, which was a huge thing at the time, a large number of anime fans preferred to hear the timbres and inflections of the original Japanese voice actors, despite not being able to understand the spoken dialogue. That intrigues Kamiya, who notes that there's no support for English-speaking actors in the American films shown in Japan. I figure that this must be true of Americans as well. Kamiya said that through an interpreter. But I found that Americans liked hearing my voice. I couldn't believe that. I was very happy to learn this. Yep, this is still back in the day when anime conventions would introduce new organizations and shows to the community, not the other way around. Referring to Madhouse, I assume. And yeah, Professor Doc here says, know him from Detective Conan. Yeah, that American appreciation for Japanese voice acting may further interest Kamiya because he feels anime acting is unnatural. In animation, you always have to exaggerate. It's totally the opposite from being natural. This is a kind of dangerous. An example of that exaggeration is the screams he developed while playing male leads in giant robot epics. Those screams were popular among female viewers who flooded Kamiya with fan mail. Yeah, and there you have it, Akira Kamiya. Really nice guy when I met him back in 01. I miss this man. I miss this dude. All right, let's look at some cosplay nostalgia. Yeah, before we do that, Kamiya loved to hit the BAS secret suite to steal our sandwiches. The Bay Area Animation Society always did great hospitality. Well, better hospitality than horse brutality. All right, let's just take a look at some cosplays here from day one. So we got Chun-Li. We have some Lotus Wars at the tip of my tongue. I had like VtuberEN at the tip of my tongue. No, that's not VtuberEN, that's Lotus Wars. Just kind of just scrolling here. We got like a very happy Cloud. Scrolling through here. We have like Mr. Xeon Friday Night there. Again, Fushigi Yugi was a huge thing back then, so I really love this Noriko cosplay. And if you also observe here, back in the day we had very like little access to wigs, so you can kind of see like how people kind of like just sprayed like their natural hair to kind of give it like that anime hue. Because I thought about doing that when I was cosplaying as Utena. I had like jet black hair, like maybe I could spray it pink. You got just a Tamahome just chilling here, and I would assume this would be like Hero, just kind of like photobombing. I would assume this is from Escaflowne. Going down, we got food from Magic Knight Rares. We got Star Blazers. We got more Ranma. I want to say, just based on the way it's coming off on my computer, this can either be a Jigen or can either be Kenji from Giant Robo. We got Sailor Saturn here. And also like the thing to kind of like just cheat with them. With like a lot of cosplay, or just kind of like just make things accessible. It's like, okay, just grab a Chinese dress, just put your hair down and stylize your hair. You can be shampoo. I thought about doing that, but like I wasn't really familiar with Ranma at the time. I didn't really watch Ranma until like the first movies were like on DVD. So yeah, here we have industry favorites Amanda, Jan Fraser, and Trish. Yeah, I'm actually friends with Jan. I'm still in contact with her today. Okay, all right, that wraps it up for day 1. Let's go to day 2. What will day 2 bring us? Yes, Kenji from Giant Robo. I do love me some Giant Robo. Been waiting for it to get a release again. You could watch it for free, I believe, on YouTube. I don't want to like promote piracy, but yeah, it's a good series. It's one of my favorites, and it's just very well done. If you like diesel punk aesthetics, it's a good one to watch. I actually thought about cosplaying as Jinrei from Giant Robo. All right, let's take a look at masquerades. So at the time, like Anime Expo had a reputation of being like one of the best masquerades to attend. But Anime Expo also back in this era, it wasn't anything goes stage cabaret thing. You can watch a lot of these videos. You can like watch a lot of these videos like on YouTube. So I actually know some of these people. Like this dude right here. He was at a wedding. I was sitting next to him at a wedding. I was like wearing like this like black dress, and he's like, "Oh, I love your look, girl." Yeah, he's cosplaying as Subaru from X 1999, and we also have like more Final Fantasy here. Like, oh, look at the chibi Eternal Sailor Moon. We also got Escaflowne here. Like, yeah, back in the day, like this is like the era of like just like the anything goes on stage Anime Expo masquerades. But it was like a lot of fun. I'm just like looking at those like from the perspective of now, and like just seeing how much masquerade has really grown to be like this huge main event thing at like certain cons. Like I know Anime Expo these days, like okay, masquerade is not what it used to be. You kind of have to pay to get in. Whole can of worms. But I just wanted to just put in the give y'all the mindset that this was an anything goes kind of stage. So yeah, more Final Fantasy VII. We got Evangelion. We got Mai Shiranui. Ooh, Wedding Peach. Like, who remembers Wedding Peach? I do love me some Wedding Peach. We got Vampire Princess Mew. Sailor Saturn. We had someone go as, like, Golden Boy. And go on the stage on a bike. That is baller. I actually did see this Gendo skit. All he does is like he just sits on a desk for like a minute with like his hands folded. And sometimes you just get like this random people like just showing up on stage for whatever reason. Looks like we got some Bubblegum Crisis. Got some like X 1999 Nataku going on there. Ava Friedel from Memories. This is like was a dream cosplay I had for the longest time. I ended up cosplaying as Ava Friedel Anime Expo 2002, and then I later remade Ava Friedel like several years later. I just kind of just go through here. I believe there's also more masquerade photos followed on here. So as I'm going through this, got more Eternal Sailor Moon here. So the American industry consisted of Central Park Media, Pioneer, Bandai, 80 Vision, Software, Sculptures, Media Blasters, Anime Ego, and Streamline Pictures. Funimation was just forming that year. So Funimation was just forming in that galaxy cauldron. Alright, just kind of scrolling through here. Yeah, we got, looks like we have Sorcerer Hunters, Violinist of Hamlin. Oh my god, is that Lucas? Or someone who looks like Lucas? Sometimes I'll just look through these pictures like, hey, friend, I think you might have a clone from way back when. Or did you, like, time travel? Got, like, Magic Knight Rayearth. Yeah, these are just, like, fandoms I just, like, don't see a lot of anymore. And it's just so nostalgic to just kind of, like, see, like, yeah, I grew up watching that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a friend we stream with. We stream with them on Ramses' channel. Yeah, I'm actually seeing some friends on here. Let's see. Mix Magazine launched that year. They grew into Tokyo Pop a few years later. And then Ramses be like, wait, what? Yeah, couple more. Oh yeah, they got like Sandman here. Yes, Rams, let's skip to 300 coffees later. All right, let's take a look at the award winners. I'll just kind of scroll through here. I actually did see their video online, and it's just like the three of them, I believe, like singing like the opening theme, and they had like shared a microphone, and they had like these elaborate "Oh My Goddess" cosplays, and like it was just like cute just seeing them just try to like just pass the microphone around. Like older gamer says, like this was back in the day when Masquerade was an upwards 3+ hour marathon. Yeah, because I'm just like looking at like the number of acts here. I don't think you could get away with this many number of acts on stage anymore. Oh, that looks like it's from Nadia. I love Nadia. That's Nurse Angel Verika. Oh my god. Yeah, like it was back like it looks like you could like do everything live at the time. Oh my god, Gollum Lena. That is so awesome. I was gonna say, I know that's not Pyramid Head, but like, I know it's a yokai of sorts. It's probably like one of those freaky angels from like Evangelion. Okay, that was not the winners. Here be the winners. So let's just take a look-see here. Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's like, it's an angel and they're holding like a bouquet of flowers. Oh, what an angel. They have flowers. So we had Best in Show was the Oh My Goddess trio. First runner-up was Ava Friedel, a cosplayer. I recall that she did like a cover of Un Bel Di Vedremo from Madama Butterfly, which is like the song that Ava Friedel sings in Memories. When I cosplayed as Ava Friedel, I made it a point to memorize that song and the Sarah Brightman version of it. Best in Show were BAS, Bay Area Animation Society members. They were our goddess girls. Yeah, Bay Area represent. And then we have like I Want to Learn Magic. I remember watching this when I was in Ohio. I had like the VHS fan subs with me because really, what is there to do in Ohio? Yeah, watch somewhat ecchi magical girl boys love type of series. So unfortunately, Web Archive doesn't always have like all the images up. Aw, best performer under 13, we have the Sailor Saturn, Jan Frazier's award here. We can't see what Rich Simmenthal like awarded it to. And it looks like Toshifumi Yoshida also awarded a personal award to the Ava Friedel cosplayer. Honorable mention went to Evangelion. A few right here. Oh my god. I love the Gollum Lena. It's one of my favorite moments in Slayers. Okay, yeah, and this is with more cosplayers. And it looks like all the Fushugi Yugi people just kind of finagled, like in the lobby on Saturday morning. So we got Princess Miyake here. I like their use of like brocade here because I also use brocade in my Princess Miyake. Looks like we got Noriko over there. Oh, y'all, check out these cameras. And this is before like digital was widely accessible. And this is before iPhones. It was before camera phones. Like more Fushugi Yugi here. Oh hey, it's Joe Alwyn. We stream with him on Ramses' channel. Yep, here we go. Older Gamer says, since this was Watase's first appearance in the US, this was Fushugi Yugi Con. My freshman year old self would have loved to have been there, but she was not there. They have, darn it, what's it called? The one that made me Heishibaru, that was an okay, Saber Marionette. It was an okay anime. I really like the theme song, Successful Mission. It is still a bop. Yeah, more cosplays here. Alright. And you'll find another group of cosplays at this link from Saturday morning in Anaheim. Yep, we got some photos here. And Kevin, when he was doing photos for Fansview, it was all digital. So if you're wondering why the quality seems kind of funky, these were like early digital photos, and he would upload them as the convention was going on. So just kind of scrolling. Sakura Tyson. I do love me some Sakura Tyson. Just kind of scrolling here. And you also had like folks wearing like cat ears. Yeah, slowly scrolling. Nurse Angel Eureka. Alright, let's see what Media Blasters, what they're up to. In the shadow of Disneyland, John Sarabella of Media Blasters made an announcement on the Saturday of Anime Expo that could have been considered a shot across the bow of Walt Disney's entertainment enterprise. If a contract had come through, Media Blasters had hoped to reach an agreement with the Osaka Tezuka Company in Japan to release the Jungle Emperor movie in the US. However, as of November, 4 months after Anime Expo was held, Sarabella said Media Blasters had no contract for the film. Anime fans recall that Jungle Emperor, a creation of the manga pioneer Tezuka, was once known as Kimba the White Lion when the original anime series aired in America in the 1960s. Most Americans had forgotten Kimba until the 1990s when Disney produced The Lion King, a movie that bore similarities to Tezuka's creation. Okay, so the way I heard about Kimba the White Lion, and if anyone in the chat remembers this from The Simpsons, it's the episode where Bleeding Gums Murphy passes, and towards the end, like you see like all these James Earl Jones characters kind of pop up in the clouds, and you have Mufasa in cloud form being all like, you must avenge me, Kimba, I mean Simba. That was like my intro to Kimba because I was like, what is this reference? And I was really active like on a lot of like Simpsons forums back then, and that's how I learned about Kimba. It was not just like a throwaway line like, oh, it's just like, no, he just pronounced Simba's name. Like, no. It actually is a reference to that. And not a lot of people who are mainstream like knew of that reference. Yeah, Yeah, Tezuka's company thought the producers of The Lion King should have acknowledged the existence of the 1960s films, but that never got happened. Japanese businessmen rarely get upset, said Sarabella, but they feel disappointed that Disney did not give them any recognition. The thought of the Disney version, which is so much like the Tezuka story of a royal lion cub, upset the company that founded by the late Tezuka that decided to make up their own updated movie after The Lion King was released. They really created the film for one good reason: to show people they are just as good, Sarabella said. Sarabella had hoped for the release of Jungle Emperor in the US in the summer of 1999 or during the Christmas season, with a harder marketing push than any of Media Blaster's other anime releases. That would have taken the company away from its pattern of adult and science fiction releases and Disney's world of children's animation, a place where Media Blasters had not made any inroads. Instead, Media Blasters came up with another major title in November, Magic Knight Rayearth. I do remember this because I do remember like a lot of fansite websites pulling the plug and taking down Magic Knight Rayearth from their fan sub listings. Instead, Media Blaster, Rayearth, we acquired all 49 episodes and will be releasing both seasons. Given the quality and high profile of this title, we expect Magic Knight Rayearth to be in the flagship series for Anime Works. Let's see, we hear Magic Knight Rayearth was a precursor to everything showing up on the Cartoon Network, says Old Dirty Gamer. In fact, Sarabella notes that the company's adult titles have been their bestsellers and usually are the easiest for Media Blasters to get into stores. The adult market within the Japanese animation is one of the strongest inconsistency. The non-adult market is inconsistent. It's all over the board, said Sarabella, just like the title of Media Blasters Kama Sutra 2 helped get the tape into stores, he said. The stores wanted more adult stuff, so we released more. Next up on the kitty label is Chimera. I don't know if I could talk about this. The story of, I'm not sure if I could say this without being sued. So Fudanari. I don't know if I could say that word. Media Blasters also has non-adult titles coming, one called Kite. Okay, that kind of is adult. A female assassin that Sarabella compares to Ghost in a Shell. A humorous Sentai anime called Shinesman. I do like me some Shinesman. Shinesman was awesome. I wish they made more Shinesman episodes. Yeah, I think certain words didn't age well, and they were kind of in our subconscious to use them, unfortunately. Let's see. But yeah, Elf Princess Ren, also on the way. Sarabella also plans to piggyback on the expected autumn video release of American big budget Godzilla movie by re-releasing a group of Rubber Monster Japanese films. Rubber Monster. Before we had like kaiju into fandom, we had Rubber Monster. Stores like to have an alternative to a major video release, Sarabella said. Let's see, we have Old Dirty Gamer. ADV and Media Blasters both rocked the adult stuff pretty hard, but it was made possible to finance other stuff they wanted to put out. Okay, that actually makes sense. Did the microphone just like kind of like fade out? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, is the microphone volume better? Because I don't know what happened. Okay. Am I echoing? Everything okay? Awesome stuff. Because I was just like peering into my microphone like a 1940s like lounge singer, like, hey baby, let's kill Nazis. I don't know, what did 1940s lounge singers sing like in World War II? Like we're gonna kick Der Führer's face or something like that. Okay.
Let's talk some Fushigi Yugi. Let's talk some mysterious play. Let's talk some never-ending story, but with more problems, teenage problems. Watase didn't expect to be treated as a conquering heroine when they arrived at Anime Expo '98. The manga artists who created Fushigi Yugi received a pleasant shock when they were introduced to the crowd at opening ceremonies and received thunderous and cheering welcome. I did not know how many people would react to me, Watase said on Saturday of Anime Expo. I was surprised when there was cheering for me. The joy of being a manga artist is to see that people enjoy what you do. I was happy when I heard that people from Japan enjoyed my work. Fushigi Yugi's popularity has spread in Europe and will expand in the US. When Pioneer starts releasing the anime's television episodes, the enthusiasm shown towards the series came despite the lack of formal release in America, where Fushigi Yugi has been seen only in imports and bootlegs. Yeah, I remember like back in the day, I was trying to look for like Fushigi Yugi fan subs because I heard like nothing but good things about it, but I got into it as it was being licensed. So Fushigi Yugi was like one of the first VHS tapes I had to save my allowance for. And it was 25 episodes for the dubbed version for 4 episodes. Yes, we have a Karma in the background. Karma likes to meow a lot. Karma is very talkative. For those of you who don't know, Karma is my cat purring on my lap because she loves me. Sometimes she flexes like an acrobat. Me and Karma vibe like that. Let's see. Yeah, what Watase says, they never get confused over what plotline is being followed by their manga characters. It takes some work to create their stories, or maybe it's a lack of work. Sometimes when I'm dozing off, a story comes into my mind when I'm watching a movie or reading a book. I think my stories should be like that, said Watase. Yes, Karma is giving her opinions on Fushigi Yugi. Says Noriko is amazing because Noriko is our trans deity who is totally awesome. Noriko is a trans icon. Yeah, my cat is just very talkative. My other cat's like, yeah, I'm just chill. I'm just gonna chill here, just play with my toys. I'm gonna sleep on the sewing machine. Manga aimed at narrow audiences in Japan divided along the lines of gender and age. Watase wishes that wasn't the case. It's kind of funny in Japan where they have guys' comics and girls' comics. They should not separate the two. I agree with them. I think there should be comics for anybody and there shouldn't be any stereotypes. Fushigi Yugi's creator spends 12 hours a day with pen and ink preparing the pages that are then finished by their assistants. They go to bed before midnight because it isn't good for my body to stay up any later. Most of their manga starts with the plots first, although when they create a humorous story, they'll sketch the characters first and then think of a story for them. Yeah, I would love to meet Watase again. I've grown so I appreciate their work so much now. Now that they've recently, a few years ago, they came out as X gender, they them pronouns, because like a lot of it just really a lot of things that just kind of seem like a hot mess in Fushigi Yugi and some of their other like work. Okay, I get it now, and I just have so many questions for them, and I would love to see them return to conventions because like not only it has like some things for you to sign, but I have so many questions, and I just want to have a conversation with you. And I admit, like, there were things in Fushigi Yugi that didn't age well, but I really think a lot of it had to do with our collective consciousness of not knowing better at the time. Now we'll just kind of like just go through Studio Hard here. Takahashi, head of Studio Hard, kept a promise he made in March at Anime's event in North Carolina. Takahashi said he would bring readers of new AX Entertainment magazine to Anime Expo. How did that pan out? Because he liked the event and because the magazine's name was so similar to the convention title, when the convention began, Takahashi was on hand along with a big delegation of people from Studio Hard and AX. Many of those people had won a contest the magazine had run earlier that year. Lasted for 3 issues according to Old Dirty Gamer. Some of those people were reader correspondents, anime otaku, who wrote for the magazine. Masami Tatsumi said she learned of the anime's international reach when she worked at a Laserdisc shop in Kyoto and met Europeans who traveled to Japan just to buy anime discs. Tatsumi enjoyed the otaku spirit of Anime Expo and added, "I would like to see Japanese animation conquer the world." So yeah, just a few snippets here. Oh my god, I remember Raijin Comics, and I remember I forgot what year of Anime Expo was. Every attendee had a sampler of Raijin Comics, and Ryo Saiba was on the cover of it. All right. Again, web archive is kind of funky, so we might not see all the photos here, but of course, Sailor Moon cosplay never grows old. Again, the popularity of Final Fantasy VII of the time. Yep, we got we got some cosplayers here. Yeah, I just feel like Sailor Moon is just one of those evergreen fandoms. Of course, got some more Fushigi Yugi. Yeah, I was wondering what this strike was from. Yeah, it's a strike otoko. I've never heard of it. Now I'm just curious to look it up. Because a lot of these I recognize. This is from Macross, Chun-Li, and I would assume. I feel this character could be anything like Yan from Street Fighter. Could be in Ranma. Oh, it's from You're Under Arrest. Got it. All right. Pioneer Entertainment, Leah Sargent. Wow, that's a name I haven't heard of in a while. And after we go through Leah Sargent, we will talk about Yasuhiro Naito, back in his mangaka era, back before Trigun was an anime. But first, I am a pioneer. Pioneer Entertainment's panel at Anime Expo had fans packing a large room for news, but of the company's plans to release Fushigi Yugi. And I remember that first VHS tape came out in January of 1999. And it came with a collectible trading card. And I had those collectible trading cards on my binder. And then I had my classmates kind of make fun of the name Fushigi Yugi. That's a funny name. You have a funny name. But at first, it got word of the unexpected change in the company's release strategy. Ironically, the company that pioneered the Laserdisc is dropping that format in the US in favor of the new DVD. With the advent of the DVD market, Laserdiscs have dropped drastically, said Kevin Chu of Pioneer. We would like to continue Laserdiscs, but the cost-profit figures make it impractical. A fan of the panel begged Pioneer Marketing Director Chad Keim for more Laserdiscs, saying, "Please take my money." Keim's response was to say that Pioneer might continue to sell Laserdiscs through their website, but store sales look like a thing of the past. Stores in the U.S. are replacing Laserdiscs with DVDs, Keim said. Onto the plans for Fushigi Yugi, the anime version of Watase's manga, serialized in 52 television episodes. Pioneer will release the first 4 episodes on 1 VHS tape. Yep, I remember that. Then release 3 episodes per tape from that point forward, you bastards, on a bi-monthly schedule. Oh yeah, that's when I could not justify 25 per tape. Because okay, 4 per tape I can justify. I could not justify 25 a tape having my high school allowance. The series will be uncut, but fans wanted to make sure that the opening and closing credits and music were untouched. They objected when Chu said he planned to run only one set of the opening and closing credits on each tape. Yeah, I'd be upset too because I'd be upset too because those openings and endings to Fushigi Yugi are bangers, and they are still bangers. A Soul of a Dragon says, love to hear fans have been using Take My Money as their quest for years. Haha! Let's see. Other notes from Pioneer. New El Hazard and Magical Girl Pretty Sammy releases are coming to the US. Yeah, we're talking about isekai releases in 1998. El Hazard, Bisugi Yugi, all isekai in 1998. But the comic book line is finished because of poor sales, along with new card sets for the Annie Mayhem game. Pioneer's biggest sales success may be the Ryoki doll, clearly, because a few of you just admitted in the chat you had a Ryoki doll, which has constantly sold out. Kaim said that Pioneer ordered a set of dolls from the manufacturer in November 97, and the shipment arrived in the US a few days before Anime Expo. More Moldiver. Only the production company AIC wants it. The same is true for the continuation of the Tenchi OAV series, also controlled by AIC. Chu said that Tenchi fans should write AIC if they want more OVAs. A fan complained that some plot lines had been left unresolved in the OVA series. What about a subtitled, uncut release of the Dragon Ball Z series, which Pioneer distributes for Funimation? Oh, that rapscallion up-and-coming company, Funimation. The other company has no interest in the as shown in Japan Dragon Ball, according to Chu. And as legacy of Pioneer's earlier Laserdisc deal with Viz Communications, Pioneer will distribute the Pocket Monsters series in the US for Viz. All right, what about them Pocket Monsters? More Moldiver was my question in that panel. Says Old Dirty Gamer. Almost lost in the flood of fan questions about Pioneer video releases was Leah Sargent, English language voice actress for Pioneer's dub release of El Hazard and other shows. Motoko, when did you become a drag queen? Leah recited for the panel as an example of one of her favorite El Hazard lines. Sargent said that she occasionally listens to the original Japanese soundtrack of the films that she dubs, and then gets only a cue on her emotions her character should express. She noted that some voice actors look like their animated characters. When Sargent dubbed Chun-Li, she arrived in the studio with her hair in a headband, just like the characters, and didn't know until she looked at the artwork for the first time. All right, who's ready to get some be hit with Trigun nostalgia bombs? Because that's the panel we are checking out next. 1998, what a time capsule, you know? All right, Yasuhiro Naito. Anime Expo fans who attended the Madhouse panel on Friday got an eyeful of Trigun, a late-night anime series airing in Japan. The retro future, technopunk western has a striking design. Trigun is based on a manga series created by Yasuhiro Naito, whose last-minute addition to Anime Expo's guest of honor. I actually did see Yasuhiro Naito when he was a guest at Anime Central, like in the early 2000s. I had a fortunate experience of like just being in the same room as him, but like now that I have much more appreciation for Trigun and also watching the new animated series, I'm like, I have like so many questions. I have like so much discussion that I want to have with you. So yeah, let's continue on. Naito wanted to draw a gun action story. I needed a situation where even if you fire a lot of guns, you won't have any police around. That led Naito to set his series in the American West, but with mecha and cyborgs. Since the biggest mecha on the frontier in the 1890s were steam engines, Naito had to create an alternate universe for Trigun. Like most manga and anime, Trigun is a melodrama at heart, said Naito. Said the theme is rather sentimental. The main character is not a typical outlaw. While he's a master gunfighter, he's also a pacifist. He'd rather apologize than to get into a gunfight, said Naito. Ironically, Naito said he has not seen many Western movies. Trigun is Naito's first serialized manga series and helped cement his move away from the salaryman's life towards an artist's career. While Naito was working at an ordinary job, he was drawing doujinshi. He won an award from Super Jump magazine for one of his doujinshi, which led to his professional contract, and then to the Trigun manga, which then led to the anime. So yeah, there you have it. Just some insight from Yasuhiro Naito. Yeah, there's a lot of value of going through a lot of these old Fansview reports. Like, yes, people may have archived the cosplay photos, but a lot of these stories about licensing, a lot of these stories um, about like guest artist and so forth, had just been like lost. And one of my goals with Fansview Fridays is to make sure those stories, these sound bites, are not lost to time. Okay, day 3. Why won't you load? All right, it's going. Is it? Is it going? Is it going? I don't know. All right. All right, Junichi Hayama. Junichi Hayama. Okay. Looks like there's no like photos here, like the photos weren't loading. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the photos are just kind of like just lost to time, but we've got the stories and we had the anecdotes here. Fits and North Star, Bebop High School, Lock to Superman, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Junichi Hayama worked on all of them, rising from an in-betweener to key animator to animation supervisor. Hayama admits he's a better artist and storyteller, which is why he sought out an animation career. From childhood, he wanted to be an artist. However, to be a good manga artist, I had to be able to draw well and come up with good stories. I couldn't do the latter, so I didn't take that route. Japan's troubled economy has not eliminated anime, but the financial pressures have cut production budgets to the point where fewer cells are being used in each TV show. Just enough cells are drawn to maintain the illusion of movement. I don't think it's affected my work, Hayama said. There are good things that can come out if I use a lot of cells, but figuring out the best way to accomplish something with a limited amount of cells is a good challenge for me. Some animes filled with fights. Hayama's had to help create some of the best in Fisted North Star TV series. You might think that there are only so many ways people can fight and run out of battle ideas. Hayama watches pro wrestling and kung fu movies for ideas for fights in his anime. If that's not enough, I try out some moves myself. I have not hurt myself yet, he said. Oh, and then we got a photo of him right here. There's a little glamour in the workaday world of the anime artist and little rest. Hayama said he worked a standard 9-hour workday for the first few months he was in the business, then it got out of hand with the rising responsibilities and pressures of producing a TV series. To have the luxury of a weekend off for the trip of Anime Expo, Hayama had to get work done ahead of time. That meant 1 hour sleep on Monday before the convention, 3 hours Tuesday, and 6 hours on Wednesday before jumping on a plane to Los Angeles. All right. Let's talk about Hiroyuki Kitakubo. Yeah, sometimes these web archive links take a bit to load. It looks like we do have some photos here. Want ad led Hiroyuki Kitakubo to an animation career. 20 years ago, when a studio advertised for part-time animators, Kitakubo answered the ad and got the job. Since then, I've been suffering in hell, Kitakubo joked at Anime Expo on Sunday. That one ad drew him into the anime industry and eventually led to directing work on Battle Royale High School, Golden Boy, do love me some Golden Boy, Robot Carnival, Black Magic M66. Kitakubo has established himself as one of the top directors in the competitive Japanese industry. He won't name a favorite among his films, Painting a piece of film or animation is like having children. If you have 3 children, would you point to one and say that's the best child? Kita Kubo's first anime directing job came on film that most anime fans have seen, but no one admits they've seen the Pop Chaser episode from the Cream Lemon series. It didn't fit me well, he said about the Segs show. While Kitakubo has nothing against anime with attractive women, he prefers to stay away from that stuff. Gotta be careful what I say, because I never know what might happen. Doesn't want to be safe. Yes, Kevin Lillard, he was a trooper. I was really happy to know Kevin Lillard, and I was very honored to say Kevin was one of my friends. And yeah, thank you for stopping by, Big C. Kitakubo has had a hand in all of the animation based on the Masamune Shiro Ghost in a Shell. He worked on the animation for the feature film and directed the anime sequences in Sony PlayStation game based on the movie. I like film animation work a lot more, Kitakubo said. In a game, the main focus on the game and not the animation. There are only a few games that can use animation effectively. Kitakubo has been fortunate enough to work in person with the reclusive Shiro. He is somebody I really look up to and respect, said Kitakubo. Working alongside him is good training and I learn a lot. For those people who question whether the unseen Shiro really exists and think the pseudonym actually belongs to a group of artists and writers, Kitakubo replies, whenever I meet him, there's only one of him. Okay, and here we have most animes created by time-honored pencil, cell, ink, and paint method, but computers are working their way into the industry. In saying he welcomes the change, Kitakubo seems to infer that some in the anime industry don't want to see the arrival of computer animation. In my mind, there is no conflict between the use of computer and traditional cell animation. I think the computer as just a different kind of pencil, he said. Animation is not produced by our arms from the elbow down, it comes from our heads. The extension at the end of our arms could be a pen, a pencil, or a mouse. And according to Old Dirty Gamer, unlike Misaka, he keeps his clones hidden. Also got Big C here. He was the first man, Kevin Lillard, took my very first cosplay picture in 2002 when I was 15. Okay, hopefully the photos will load because, again, if you're just tuning into our stream of looking at Anime Expo 1988 from Fansview, some of the photos won't load, but let's see if we can just capture some memories of 1998 cosplayers. Because I just love looking at the popular fandoms at the time, not because I'm biased, because these are the fandoms I grew up with, but rather this is what people were representing at the time. Sometimes if we click again, sometimes it might go faster. All right, are you gonna show me some photos here? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got Nakuska, Valley of the Wind. Oh, my goddess. Yeah, sometimes again it takes a while for photos to do their thing. And you can kind of see the time. A lot of cosplay photography as seen here is just headshots, just bus shots, from the bus up. We also have a little bonus here. Not costumers, but artists who appeared at Anime Expo. Rose Eric, Ricky Simmons standing, and Tavishel Wolf Garth Simmons seated in front of a cactus banner selling copies of issue 10 of Super Information Hijinks Reality Check
Ricky Simmons. I wonder if they're going to make a name for themselves in the future. Also on hand in Anaheim, Robert D. Jesus. I went to his wedding. Taking time off from his Antarctic and freelance work to see Anime Expo. Yes, D. Jesus' beard is shorter than we saw it at Anime Central in April. Okay, let's dive into the mind of Philip Moy. Okay. Are we all just glamour cats here? Just looking at Big C's comment here. Memory, turn your face to the moonlight. I like to think that the live action Cats does not exist. Cats has a really weird plot. It's like, hi, let's introduce ourselves. One of us is gonna die. I really wanted to see what they would have done with an animated version of Cats, but sad, it does not exist. All right, Philip Moy. Philip Moy draws from both Marvel and DC, working on the Legionnaires 64 and Men in Black series. He spoke to an Anime Expo panel on American Japanese worlds of comics, comic adaptations of movies, shared the film style, of course, but Moy said he looks to movies for other cues to use in his drawings. Moy admits to borrowing from a few items from Star Trek for his comics, such designs as the series control panels. Also enjoys the work of futurist Sid Mead. But artist who really gets Moy's attention is Hayao Miyazaki. That sort of stuff only comes from your head, said Hoy. Miyazaki must have some really weird dreams. The wave of the future might be online comics. And stories told through computer screens, but Moy doubts it. There may have been experiments with computers or comics on CD-ROM, such as a few semi-animated issues of Ninja High School and some collected collections that have been released on computer disk. However, those attempts have been short-lived. Right now, it's easier to go out and pick up a book and flip through it, Moy said. The computer has to break through that tactile interface. Anime Expo fans want to know how to get started in the comics industry as an artist. For Yasuhiro Naito, creator of the Trigun manga, it started at Comic Market in Japan, the massive gathering of doujinshi enthusiasts. Japanese manga publishers scout the comic at shows for new talent, and that's where Naito was discovered by a publisher. Smaller publishers tend to be more present at Comic Market, but among the big publishers, Kodansha has been scouting there, Naito said. Moy tried the American version of Naito's strategy. He showed his drawings at U.S. comic conventions, but never got a bite. Rather, Moy took advantage of the industry grapevine. When someone he knew asked for help with a project, Moy had a job, which grew to his busy position inside the industry. Moy said the American comics industry may be harder to enter than manga in Japan, since there are fewer major comic companies in the U.S. than in Japan. All right, kind of like to take a look at the charity auction here as we are wrapping up Anime Expo 98. So again, their charity of choice is City of Hope. The Society of the Promotion of Japanese Animation adds a special touch to Anime Expo. Each convention ends with a charity auction of art, sponsors, dealers, and guests of honor. The proceeds go to the City of Hope, a children's hospital. Okay, the final item to be auctioned on Sunday afternoon was a matted color picture of the Fushigi Yugi characters
drawn during the convention by Watase. Jeff Okamoto of the Anime Expo staff strained to drive the bidding higher and higher. All right, how much did it go for? While in the audience, Watase calmly videotaped the auction. The bidding swept past 2,000, soared past 3,000, and edged upward until a $3,200 was a bid. No one wanted to take the bidding higher. The woman who entered the winning bid got a special piece of art and a picture with Watase. The City of Hope will receive at least $16,675, a tentative figure that is slightly higher than the proceeds from the 1997 charity auction. And I believe Anime Expo nowadays, I think they're associated with a charity that is associated with Japantown or Little Tokyo. I had to check that again because they still do this charity auction on Sunday. I haven't been to the charity auction in like years because it's usually around the time I usually head on out from AX. But I'm kind of curious to see how the charity auction fares this year when I'll be there. All right, closing ceremonies. A remarkable 4,500 people attended Anime Expo 1998. Wow, 4,500. And how many people is the Los Angeles Convention Center going to expect next month? I know, right? Soul of a Dragon, a remarkable 4,500. Many of them were back in the main assembly hall at the Anaheim Convention Center on Sunday afternoon for the closing ceremony. They heard about the conclusion of the joke started by Hiroyuki Kitakubo from the opening ceremony when he said he'd come to Anime Expo to conquer the universe. I think I was successful, just a little bit, and I have one subject now, he said, gesturing to the far end of the table to stage, where Yasuhiro Naito sat. He admitted he was the first subject. And he was pleased with the reception he received at Anime Expo, and added that he was delighted with the looks of the female cosplayers, with an overwhelmed by the large portions served by American restaurants. Yeah, we probably still had Tiffy's in Anaheim in walking distance during that time. R.I.P. Tiffy's. We didn't have Downtown Disney back then. See, just some insight from Old Dirty Gamer. The population boom didn't happen until 2002 to 2004. After AX broke the attendance ceiling, it took off like a rocket. Yes, I remember like a lot of people were telling me in 2002 that they were planning to quit Anime Expo because they felt it was being too mainstream. I even had like conversations like that even after Anime Expo 2001 and referencing me as being part of that new generation of Toonami otaku. As part of that scene. And I'm like, wait, I don't really consider like having like a generation of otaku because I kind of always felt we were always on the same level because anime was just so niche back then. Anywho, all of the Japanese guests of honor echoed Naito's delight at the reception they had received from American fans and expressed wishes to be invited back to Anime Expo in 1999. We're going to be covering Anime Expo in 1999 next Friday. Then, fan favorite Yu Watase was filled the right eye of the Durama doll to signify the successful completion of a major endeavor, and the convention was over. All right. So I know Anime Expo no longer does this, so they do like a fan favorite award type thing. So let's just kind of go through this. Let's see if some of y'all in the chat can recognize any of these titles. Fan favorites won the 1998 Anime Expo Awards based on the survey of the people who attended the convention. Favorite male character, Japanese release, Gartis, Slayers. I don't remember that guy. Favorite male character, US release, Tenchi Masaki, Tenchi Muyo. Do love me some Tenchi. Favorite female character, Japanese release, Lena Inverse, Slayers. Gotta love that Dragon Slave. Favorite female character, US release, Rei Ayanami, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Favorite non-human character, Japanese and US release, Ryoki Tenchi Muyo. I mean, like, what's not to love? Favorite Japanese soundtrack, Vampire Princess Mio.
I do like the background music in Vampire Princess Miyu. I do want to revisit Vampire Princess Miyu. I might have much more appreciation it from now that like I've aged, so I might enjoy it more now. Favorite U.S. soundtrack: Tenchi OAV Best Part 2. Favorite manga: Japanese release, Inuyasha. Remember, this is 1998. Favorite manga: U.S. release, Oh My Goddess. Favorite movie: Japanese release, End of Evangelion. How can that be anyone's favorite movie? Favorite movie: U.S. release, New Kimaguri Orange Road. Favorite OVA, Japanese release, Fushugi Yugi. I did not like the OVAs, I'm sorry. Favorite OVA, US release, Key, the Metal Idol. Favorite Japanese TV animation, Catgirl Nuku Nuku. Yes, you may boop snoot. I love some, I do love me some Kimaguri Orange Road. It's one of my favorite 80s rom-com anime. Favorite US TV animation, The Simpsons. So yeah, The Simpsons winning an award at Anime Expo. I mean, can you imagine, like, if this survey was released in like the late 2010s or even early 2020s, I can see people trolling this question, either putting in King of the Hill or Cory in the House. Favorite US animation magazine, An America. I used to read An America all the time. It was like one of my favorites. Growing up, just hitting up Borders and just thumbing through An America. Favorite Japanese animation magazine, New Type. I actually do own some old New Type magazines. Best Anime Expo sub-dub and overall premiere, Slayer's Movie. Best sub-dub video company, Pioneer Entertainment. All right, Old Dirty Gamer. By 1998, there was only one U.S. magazine because VMAX was treading mad water, and all the others were trended into other genres. Okay, that was our closing ceremonies. And this is always my favorite part of Kevin's con reports. These were his final thoughts. And this is also why I adapted a final thoughts section on my convention reports, because I liked reading his perspective as someone who just kind of just goes to all these events and just goes from panel to panel, covering all these cosplays. So when I was working on my reports, I had my final thoughts as a teenager going to these events, what was my perspective and what were my thoughts on the convention. And let's read Kevin's final thoughts on Anime Expo 1998. The best description for Anime Expo 1998 is big. Big crowds, big lines, big rooms, big cheers. At an estimated 4,500 attendants, it's easily the biggest anime convention in the USA. Y'all, let that sink in. A crowd that size forms big lines to get registered and into the most popular events. With events that spread over a large hotel, a convention center, Anime Expo filled some big rooms, and the people in those rooms showed some big enthusiasm when their favorites were presented. At the previous convention covered on this page, Project Acon 9, the hall used for the costume contest held 320. The author counted the seats. Anime Expo's cosplay hall seated 1,300. The video rooms at the Anaheim Hilton and the Anaheim Convention Center were the size of ballrooms, much larger than any room used for any other anime convention seen by this author. Those rooms, along with a huge dealer room, swallowed the big Anime Expo crowds. Walk into the hotel, and you might have wondered what a fuss was all about, with a couple hundred people in the halls. But then a movie would end in a video room, and the fans would flood outside. Watase received the biggest fan reactions at Anime Expo. The guests of honor all received applause and got some cheers, but Watase's name drew screams. Their creation, Fushugi Yugi, is beloved among Anime Expo fans, and they love having the manga's creator on hand to see in person. Outside the costumers, no one caused more shutter buttons to be squeezed and more film to be exposed than Watase, who is pleasantly tall, by the way. The combination of the hotel and convention center across the street made it for the best seating of an anime con. The hotel room rates of $120 a night after taxes was the highest this author has seen, but the rooms were decent. As usual, the author spent a minimum amount of time in the video rooms, but one brief visit left him impressed. Viewing the English language dub of Bastard, the author noted 6 loudspeakers arrayed around the room. Their purpose became evident when a battle scene erupted and the sound effects bounced around the room. Anime Expo had installed a 6-channel surround system. Very impressive. As for the dealer's room, you couldn't have played a couple of basketball games in there. The merchandise looked good, and Bandai used the occasion to unveil their new AnimeVillage.com booth. The Bandai move toward an upgraded website and the announcement that they would release a Gundam TV series and the first 3 movies was big news of Anime Expo. Gundam fans, frustrated by having to depend on fan subs, imports, and bootlegs for their mega fix, were overjoyed. Industry insiders were intrigued that Bandai had decided to take their 20-year-old project, older than many of Gundam's American fans, and release it themselves. There were open doubts from some in the U.S. anime industry that Bandai would succeed at their strategy of selling Gundam only through their website by mail order. However, one person in the industry had to acknowledge that online sales could produce more profit with less volume than going through stores. Even with the Gundam announcement, the industry panel seen by the author with most fan enthusiasm was Pioneer Entertainment panel. Fans peppered the Pioneer reps with an unending litany of queries around Pioneer anime series and the formats the series will be sold in. The fans were not shy in questioning Pioneer's motives in moving away from the Laserdisc format from the company started to the newer DVD format. The fans even tried to tell Pioneer officials exactly how to release Fushigi Yugi. They made it clear they wouldn't accept the slightest edits in Pioneer's tapes. And according to old Dirty Gamer, that one person was Carl Masick, by the way. Shout out to you, Carl. Pour one out for you, Carl. Back when anime fans were super pushy. It was good to see that Nav Takahashi of Studio Heart brought a delegation of Japanese fans to Anime Expo. Takahashi had a contest in his AX magazine, and the 7 winners were treated like royalty in Anaheim, getting upfront seating at the major events and interview sessions with the guests of honor. It must have been an amazing irony that the young Japanese fans had to cross the Pacific Ocean to meet artists from their own country. And we'll learn the power of Anime Expo fans if Trigun and Alexander become hits. Madhouse pushed the Trigun late night anime in their Anime Expo panel, and Yasuhiro Naito, Trigun's manga creator, got plenty of attention during the convention. Also, the preview of the Alexander anime with Peter Chung's character designs looked strong. Word of mouth could drive that upcoming title to the sort of underground fame that pressed U.S. companies to release titles such as Fushigi Yugi. Might Madhouse have launched a new strategy of pushing their new titles at Anime Expo? And there you have it. This is the Anime Expo report from Kevin Lillard, and we got to learn a little bit about some fandom history here. So again, thank you so much for joining us here over at Wisteria Witch VT. More than happy to have you here. Next week, we will be covering Anime Expo 1999 in our countdown to Anime Expo. Again, great having you all here. This video will be on our YouTube channel. We really want to preserve Kevin Lillard's work. There's a lot of valuable information here on the history of fandom, the history of anime on Web Archive, and this is certainly something that we as a community we cannot afford to lose. And if I have to introduce this to the world again via being a VTuber, so be it. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for joining me on my stream. And I hope to see you next Friday, where we get to travel to the futuristic year of 1999. All right. With that said, thank you so much for joining me, Foragers, and keep on foraging. I will figure out a better catchphrase.